You're not old enough to have cheaters.
I just got 99-cent cheaters.
You are not old enough. Sorry, you got to take those back. Good morning.
Good morning, Jeffrey.
So Jeffrey Dunham here, Ann Roosevelt here. We're going to talk and walk you through 6 common topics that we get asked about trust, and try to put some context around this so that ultimately when you're talking to your client about trust and why Nevada might be something they should consider. What comes up in those conversations? What sorts of things might you be interested in knowing? We're going to try in less than 30 minutes to help you get to yes with your clients in utilizing a trust structure and then letting them go rave to their friends and family about what you've accomplished for them. To my right is Ann Roosevelt. She's the president and chief trust officer since 2014. Of Dunham Trust Company. You have been running that company since 14. It's got 25, 6, 7 employees. You are full-time in Reno. And what else should we say about that?
Unique, boutique, highly involved in the planning sector. And I'm very proud over the last several years to have watched Dunham Trust become what our clients and our financial advisors really can be touting as their go-to solution. It's been a wonderful ride.
It's fun to watch her do it too. The concept of Nevada and why Nevada. If I live in California, if I live in Connecticut, if I live in New York, if I live in New Jersey, if I live in Illinois, those are the high income tax states. And people lean forward when they hear Nevada because of its zero income tax, state income tax, and because of its dynastic feature. Some people don't understand dynastic meaning multi-century, in our case 365 years, where you can have a trust and not pay estate tax. How could you not pay estate tax for 365 years? My goodness, what a great concept. But outside of the income and estate tax, what are the other features about Nevada that cause people to lean forward and use it?
Sure. This is one of the great things about practicing in the state and having a trust company in this state is that those wonderful aspects of no income tax and dynastic features can be layered with all the other well thought out progressive laws that we have. So what you really hear, number one, is asset protection. Nevada has the shortest seasoning period for a long-term, well-crafted estate plan which wants to also have maximum levels of asset protection. You're willing to give an asset to a trust so that it cannot be responsible anymore for what happens outside the trust. 2.5 year seasoning period for an asset put into a trust, and once it's been completed, zero creditor exemption, which really follows sort of the philosophy of Nevada law. Zero creditor exemption means even later occurring child support and spousal maintenance, even those closest of creditors, still have to go through the regular channels and are not treated specially in a Nevada asset protection trust. So, doesn't mean that you're here now today wanting to defraud a spouse or a former spouse. It means in the future if something happens, if you have a creditor appear and they happen to previously have been your spouse, they still get along with the other creditors. So it's a very pragmatic business contract type of asset protection law.
I've seen it also used, these asset protection laws, to help kids and grandkids who may marry the wrong spouse, keep assets from going away through simply careless acts and being unaware that when the granddaughter or the son got married, put the asset in joint name, it vanishes. So
that's a great point, and really one that we probably talk about more often than between the existing or the living spouses. But who's my child going to marry, and how do they get to my assets? Well, they don't with Nevada Asset Protection Trust.
Well said.
A few other things that we like to enhance in the Nevada Trust is that there's laws about decanting. Decanting is really in the future, knowing that we don't know that all parts of a trust are going to work forever, that we might be able to or need to take the best parts of a trust, hold on to those, pour those into a new trust, and leave what we don't want, what doesn't work for us within some levels of fairness anymore. Decanting a trust has great abilities in Nevada under our statutes.
I've heard you use the analogy like decanting a fine bottle of wine. Mm-hmm. So like leaving the sediment behind, but keeping the juice that you want.
Another couple of points I would make is just that Nevada has a good, solid understanding of what you can do without a courtroom. A non-judicial settlement in Nevada is a great way to solve issues. All the interested parties are there. They understand what's happening. They come forward. They settle an issue. It is written into a document, but it doesn't have to go to court. Cost savings, relationship savings. The trust gets to continue to do what it was set up to do without having to veer left and go into a litigation mode. Very many practitioners, I think, in Nevada are highly supportive of non-judicial settlements, and that's not the case in all states.
Fair enough.
Finally, just quickly, we really support the role of trust protectors, of your trusted third-party person having some powers out there, which frankly in the end involve whether or not your advisors stay on the job, including your trustees. And having a trust protector inside of Nevada Trust is commonplace these days. So that gives you more control.
And the trust protector does not have to be in Nevada. Trust protector can be your friend from college. Doesn't matter where he or she lives. Mm-hmm. So.
Right. So I think those are just some of the other Nevada attributes that you really should sort of sit up and take notice and show how progressive the state is in making sure that the trust does everything you want it to do.
Thanks, Ann.